Good day. It's day 17, the 11th of September. It's 61 degrees. Wind is out of the west at 13 miles an hour, and the humidity is 43%. You might have listened in yesterday when I had mentioned that the guys that were holed up over in the source building had put together a remote control car and had attached a walkie-talkie to it. They managed to drive it over to the studio here, and I picked it up. I had the chance yesterday and today to speak with Dave and Brian, who have been holed up since this whole ordeal over at the source building where they work. We had talked for quite a while and explained a bit about, what all we'd seen and been going through, and they were hungry and had caught my broadcast and had heard that I had some supplies here, and had decided, had come together with a plan about making their way over here. They had built another car, or unpackaged it or some such, and they thought they'd use it as a distraction. This particular car was a police car, and it had the lights and the sirens and everything, and they thought if they just drove that car in the opposite direction from where they're running to the station here, that'd be a distraction, and they could make it over here. Well, they explained to me that to wait by the door, because we've got a side door here, which seemed to make more sense than risk them coming in through the lobby, because I don't know if the lobby was safe. Those are the doors that were getting beaten on early, and I just thought that it probably wasn't safe. The side door is the one that John came out of, and yeah. So they did it. They drove the car off, and I stood by the door with the walkie-talkie in hand, and I waited and listened, and I could hear them over the walkie-talkie. They were running, and then I heard Brian scream. And he was screaming Dave's name, and I opened the door, and I stuck my head out, and they were, I don't know, they were maybe 100 meters from the station here, and out of nowhere came one of the Reds and just pounced on Dave. And he was tearing him up. He was Brian took off. He ran back the way he came, and we both could hear Dave screaming, and Brian ran back to the source store and locked himself in. And we both listened to Dave's screams. And he's out there now. And Brian, I know you feel like you should do something. I know it looks like he's just hurt and that you need to help, but that thing is out there. And if it's the same thing that did this to John, then it's just waiting. It's using Dave to lure us out. We can't go out there, Brian. I know he's your friend. I know you want to do something. I know how it sounds, but we can't go out there. I'm sorry, Brian. I know what it was like. I don't know. Maybe we should all stay put. Those things are out there, and I don't know. It's been what 10, 11 days now that if that's the same one that got John. I mean, I thought everything was slowing down. I mean, the majority of the zombies that I see are all slow and gray. I don't know. Maybe it's stupid for us to go out there. I mean, you're inside, and maybe right now you're safe, and you're thinking, oh gosh, it'd be really nice if I had a weapon, or if I had a means to communicate outside, or if I had some more food. But I'm telling you, it is. They're out there. I don't know where or how many, but some of them are just waiting for us to move. I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Dave. So my zombie count at the moment is about 331, but it's really getting hard to remember which one was which. They're all starting to become kind of a blur, and as they get more dirty and their clothes get more muted, I don't know. It's hard. I did from the rooftop yesterday. I saw something of note, I guess, that I saw a zombie that was floating down the river by the station here, and I could tell it was a zombie by the kind of condition that its head was in. It was not really swimming. It was just being swept away by the current. There was enough of it to keep it buoyant, but I guess the lesson here is that the zombies can't swim, at least not the greys. I also had reported a few days ago about my food and water. I'd actually forgot to count the case of popcorn and the cases of cup of noodles that we have. I was just kind of adding up stuff out of the snack machines, and so I think if I add the popcorn and the noodles and add the calories from the soda, I've probably got around 81 days food, and I'm not sure about, like I said, the soda and water, so I think my water's the same. I think I've still got about, I don't know, I guess 66 plus days, depending on how the soda works. I wanted to give a shout out to Bryce and to Abby, if you're out there. As I mentioned, I I'd heard from Bryce and Abby a couple days ago. They apparently are amidst one another, had sort of found, we all kind of found each other at the same time, and hopefully you guys are doing okay. I also checked on the fuel to see how much of that I've been using, and just after a few days, I checked the measurements, and I don't know that it's really moved much at all. In fact, the meter stick that I was using, just depending on kind of the angle or that I was putting it in, I think the loss of fuel is pretty negligible within 3 days. So that's good. As soon as I can get a worthwhile measurement, I can probably figure out how long that's going to last. But I really hope that's going to last through the winter, because I know it's going to get pretty cold. It's going to be really rough for all of us. I've been kind of poking around here. I had mentioned doing the inventory of the things that I have here at the station, of which I've got a few odds and ends, some decent supplies in some areas, and but I don't even have any sort of makeshift weapon really at this point. If something was to break in here, I've been trying to piece something together. I took we've got a selection of folding tables, and I took a screwdriver and undid one of the legs. This particular table has got legs that you can actually unbracket from one another. So I've got this like slightly S curve bat thing that's about the best I have. I've put one in the break room, and I put one here in the broadcast room in case I'm in one place or the other. But it's pretty grim. I mean, the best I can hope is that these doors hold up. I can still hear him outside. I had read a quote from Doug Larson. He's a writer down in Wisconsin, but he gets carried up here every once in a while. I remember reading a quote of his that said that a weed is a plant that has mastered every survival skill except for learning how to grow in rows. And I don't know, at the time that I read that, which was some years ago, it always stuck in my head. Particularly because for whatever reason, when I was a kid, I remember asking my father if trees were plants, and my father shook his head and he said, no, trees are weeds. And even now, I don't know why he said it. He said, you can take a seed from a tree and you can plant it somewhere and it will grow, and a forest is just sort of a unkempt bunch of weeds. It's just they're plants that are so big that their stalks are giant pieces of solid wood. And so somehow Doug's quote reminded me of that, and I started to think that maybe what happens now is is it's not about beating the zombies. What if it's about just surviving them? If it's about outliving them? It kind of changed my perception a bit about what all we had to do. I thought, maybe the lesson here is we just need to persevere. I mean, we've all suffered our losses, and sadly we probably will suffer more. But we can outsmart them. I mean, they may be brutal or fast or unrelenting and tenacious, but we've survived. I mean, the human race has survived tyranny and oppression and slavery and war, and certainly we can survive this, right? Maybe this time right now is not about them. It's about us. And I know there are other survivors out there. I know that there are people who are still holed up, or maybe are out and about. Maybe there are those that are kicking ass right now, having shot 1,000 zombies down. I don't know. I'd like to think so. But this is our moment in time. In perhaps the existence of humanity. Maybe this, in some weird way, we all lived and survived. The species reached as some sort of final test. And I don't have answers. I don't know how it started or why or what's going on. But I can take a look out that window and I can see what it's doing to us. I can see how it tries to use us against each other. But we have got to survive this. Wherever you are, whatever it is you're doing, whatever hope you have lost at this point, this is not just about you. It's bigger than that. It's about all of us. It's about the existence, maybe, of man. So survive, Saskatoon. Survive, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. My name's Marty, and I'm at the Rawco radio station at 715 Saskatchewan Crescent West. I have a police scanner, a CB radio at channel 19, a ham radio at the 80-meter band on 3.675 megahertz. If you can hear this, I broadcast live every day at 12 p.m. I hope to talk to you again.